Question: what if dialysis was not an option? Would you follow a zero protein diet if it meant saving your life? Catherine here, I'm a doctor of natural medicine. Even if today we have supplements that completely replace protein to the point that stopping dialysis could be possible with just a few tablets a day, many CKD patients are still told that eating protein is fine and dandy and not to worry about it, because when your kidneys finally give up, the machine will keep you alive. Don't worry, they tell you. Just keep eating chicken and salmon while we warm up your seat at the dialysis clinic. But what if dialysis was not an option? Would you still be eating chicken breast, or would you consider giving up protein? Guys, this is not just a rhetorical question. This can really happen. Recently, this 47-year-old dialysis patient suffered vascular access dysfunction. Her fistula closed and suddenly dialysis was not an option anymore. Yes, the unthinkable happened. She really had to choose between her steak and her life. We will see what happened to her next, but the big question is, what would you have done in her place? Would you have stopped eating protein completely, or would you have faced the inevitable? Please let me know what you think about this in the comment section, because I really think we should discuss this. Because here's what they don't tell you about kidney disease. CKD patients in all the stages from 3 to 5 could go zero protein and delay dialysis, sometimes by decades, or even achieve significant improvements in their GFR and proteinuria numbers. But how many patients are actually being recommended this life-saving diet today? So let's answer the question that's on everyone's mind right now. How will my body even survive without protein? Well guys, here's some good news. I'll give you a practical answer to all the questions today. No theory here, no rhetoric. I will just show you the facts and I will give you the practical instructions to solve the problem, because you just need 6 of these tablets a day and boom, your body won't need any protein at all. You won't just be able to survive, you will thrive. And these tablets, they are called keto analogs, alright? This is an amazing supplement and patients can eat almost zero protein without any side effects with it. Keto analogs are amino acids without nitrogen, aka kidney toxins. So you can get everything that's good in protein but nothing of what causes kidney damage. This is all proved by large meta-analysis and reviews of studies. And here's the thing. The main downside of keto analogs, you can't get a prescription for them in the US. Your doctor probably doesn't even know what they are. But you can still get kidney-safe OTC amino acid supplements. You should be able to see some brands on screen right now. Now guys, please let me know in comment section if you want to know more about this, because we have supplements today that can 100% replace protein without any of the side effects of actually eating protein. It's true, you don't need to burn through your kidney function just like junkie burning through this whole contact list asking for 20 bucks anymore. We have supplements now. And I mean, we've had them for almost 50 years. Yes, your doctor is that behind on refresher courses. So in short, 6 tablets a day of keto analogs make protein useless. This is why when you ask, how will my body even survive without protein? You are trying to solve a problem that science completely solved back in 1980. That's like calling NASA in 2026 to ask if rockets can actually leave the atmosphere. They're on Mars. We moved on. And let's answer another question that science answered before I was even born. So the second most asked question when I talk about going very low protein is about muscles. Because like any influencer will tell you, reducing protein intake will cause immense muscle loss. Seriously, go one day without a T-bone steak and boom, you can watch your body deflate like a punctured balloon. So why do we even recommend a plant-based diet knowing that a patient will lose an immense amount of muscle mass? Well guys, I don't know what to tell you. You got us. The entire nephrology community secretly wants you weak. Strong patients call the insurance company and fight back. Weak patients just pay. We're playing the long game here. Okay guys, I'm joking. If that wasn't clear already, look, believe it or not, healthcare professionals really value your muscle mass. Keeping adequate muscle mass is linked to stronger bones, longer lifespan, and better life quality, says science. And isn't that the goal of the whole operation? So why even recommend a plant-based diet then? Wouldn't increasing protein intake be better? Not if you have CKD, says science. This is not my opinion. This is a proven scientific fact. Look at this mile-long study. This paper, it involved the work of three Nobel Prize winners. What this proves is that if you have CKD, eating meat and other animal-based foods will literally melt your muscles away like an ice cream in the sun. It's called muscle wasting, and it's caused by the acid and the toxins produced by protein metabolism. Yes, CKD changes a lot of things in the human body. It's not like the lack of protein that causes muscle loss, says science. It's a complication of CKD. So question, how do we stop losing muscle mass then? In order to stop muscle loss with CKD, follow these 3 steps. First, completely avoid animal-based foods and reduce protein intake as much as possible. Second, move! Do you remember that gym membership card you have in that drawer? Time to use it. Third, get enough calories every day. Remember, your body won't eat your muscles if you give it enough calories. Especially avoid crash diets. Slow and steady weight loss is fine if you need it. But don't follow an influencer prescribed diet. And let's move on to the next question. Today we have proven that you don't just survive on a low protein diet, you absolutely thrive. But there is a lingering fear that holds people back from taking the plunge. Anemia, or as this viewer calls it, a hemoglobin crash. Before I show you the exact clinical protocol to effortlessly bypass this risk, look closely at the rest of this viewer's comment. He claims he must eat red meat to save his hemoglobin. But look at his actual lab results. His hemoglobin is sitting at an 8. Despite eating red meat, his hemoglobin is in the run like your hair is on fire territory. And yes, that's a medical term. And here is the crazy part. This viewer, he is also sarcopenic, which is a medical term for severe muscle wasting. Despite eating red meat, the steak isn't saving him, it is just accelerating the decline. However, I hear you. The fear of stripping away meat and risking a massive nutrient deficiency is completely legit. I am not going to sugarcoat it. Jumping into a plant-based diet blindfolded is like trying to build a brick wall with absolutely no mortar. Plants simply don't have as much iron as meat, and they contain basically zero vitamin B12. If you don't supply the raw materials, your body simply cannot manufacture healthy red blood cells. But here is the terrifying trap most patients fall into. You think you can just grab a cheap over-the-counter multivitamin to fill the gap? Wrong. Those generic pills are loaded with synthetic additives, hidden potassium, and dangerous phosphorus fillers that act like microscopic shrapnel, tearing through your remaining nephrons and directly poisoning your kidneys. So, you are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do you poison your kidneys with a steak just to scrape together a few milligrams of iron? Or do you risk starving your blood cells? Absolutely not, because I took this problem personally. You do not need to sacrifice your kidneys to save your blood. No, you just need the ultimate clinical grade shortcut. You take 1 capsule of Reina Best every single morning. Always take your Reina Best every morning. Why? Because we engineered these capsules to pack more high-absorbing iron than a massive steak, delivering the exact micronutrients your bone marrow requires for erythropoiesis without producing a single drop of toxic uremic waste. And it gets better. This is the only renal multivitamin on the market armed with methylcobalamin, the active, highly bioavailable natural form of B12. When I formulated Reina Best, I didn't just want the vitamin. I wanted an aggressive daily biochemical shield against kidney disease. Zero dangerous fillers, zero kidney stress, just pure targeted renal support. Stop waiting for your numbers to crash. Start taking care of them now.
Listen to me! Take Renabest right now! It is the ultimate multivitamin! Your kidneys will thank you! Yes, you must take it today!
Okay guys, next question. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What if you really can't go on without some meat here and there? Look guys, this is a much bigger issue than most people think. Not everyone can just, wake up one day and give up something they grew up eating. It's not that easy. And actually, this is not a question you ask me. This is a question I ask you. I made this survey on YouTube and your answer shocked me. What I ask here is about the same question this video is asking. Would you give up protein if it meant saving your life? And guys, a whopping 70% of you answered with a resounding yes. I do whatever it takes. Which is amazing guys, congratulations! If you are in this 70%, it takes a lot of strength to actually follow a renal diet. It's not something everyone can do. Seriously, given the kind of questions I get in the comments, I was expecting a lot more people doubting their answers. Talking about the vocal minority. So guys, let me know what your secret is. Let me know how you manage to follow a diet as strict as a plant-based diet every day. Write it down in the comment section because adherence, aka the number of patients that actually follow the prescribed therapy, is a very serious issue when it comes to the renal diet. But you guys seem to have this figured out, so let me know how you do it. Okay guys, let's talk about a very serious issue a lot of people are worried about when starting a plant-based diet. Because now the question is, aren't many plant-based foods too rich in potassium? So let's talk about something that's literally putting millions of people's lives at risk right now. One of the biggest pieces of misinformation in the renal diet, because here's the thing, each and every time I recommend healthy plant-based foods, people complain about the potassium content. So let's talk about potassium. How many healthy foods are you supposed to avoid? Tomatoes, better avoided. Bananas, too much potassium. Avocados, don't even think about them. But what if I told you that when you actually start to avoid meat, a lot of these foods can go straight back on the menu?
What?
So here's what they never tell you about the renal diet. A small portion of red meat can have more than double the potassium of a banana. Let that sink in for a moment, because this is a fact that too many doctors forget to mention to their patients. I mean, imagine needing to actually limit your potassium. You religiously avoid all the healthy fruits and vegetables because they have potassium. No bananas, no avocados, no potatoes, no nothing. You eat like a Victorian orphan during a famine, and you still end up in the emergency room, or worse, because nobody warned you about the potassium in red meat, poultry, dairy, and fish. Let's avoid that, alright? You should be seeing on screen right now what foods have dangerous potassium and what foods are unjustly banned from your diet for no reason at all. Because here's the thing, potassium from meat and additives is not the same as potassium from fruits and veggies. Your body won't absorb almost half the potassium in a banana. It's not bioavailable. Your body won't be able to use it. But meat is different. If a steak has 600 milligrams of potassium, your body will use all of it. Keep that in mind the next time you still get recommended animal-based foods. And here is the bottom line. You must always avoid bad potassium in a renal diet. Food items like pasta sauce, dry fruits, animal-based foods, processed in particular, but also salt substitutes like light salt or no salt or low-sodium packaged foods, regular multivitamins, and several over-the-counter supplements, not to mention several herbal remedies. All these foods might literally spike your potassium levels and cause you serious problems. That's where you get the bad potassium. On the other hand, completely avoiding plant-based foods never helps, and it actually makes CKD progress faster. Most high potassium vegetables can easily be leached to remove the excess potassium, while potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, carrots, beets, even mushrooms, cauliflower, and frozen greens. Double boil them and boom, the potassium is gone. But not the fiber and nutrients. Okay guys, the next question I always get from patients is, do some of us actually need more protein? And here's the thing, if there is one absolute unbreakable law about the renal diet, it must be highly personalized, and protein is absolutely no exception. So question, who actually gets a whole pass to eat more protein? Well, believe it or not, some patients absolutely require a slightly higher protein intake, but only if it is high quality, ultra clean, low phosphorus protein. Actually, there are three highly specific groups of people who need to dial up their protein intake compared to the typical CKD patient. First group, dialysis patients. If you are already hooked up to the machine, the entire metabolic game fundamentally changes. The dialysis process acts like a massive internal hurricane, violently washing away essential amino acids right alongside the toxins. At this stage, restricting your protein too much won't magically bring your dead kidney tissue back online. So, we must prioritize keeping your physical strength intact just to survive the harsh treatments. We almost never recommend dialysis patients cut protein too drastically. Second group, sarcopenic patients in the early stages of CKD. Sarcopenia is the medical term for dangerously low muscle mass. We see this all the time in our very frail, elderly patients whose bodies are practically wasting away. But here is the terrifying paradox your doctor probably isn't explaining to you. For these frail patients, CKD might not be the immediate threat that takes them out. So doctors prioritize protecting muscle mass over strictly kidney preservation. But it is a rather thin tightrope walk. If you dump too much highly acidic protein into the system, the resulting uremic toxins will actually trigger a massive inflammatory cascade that literally digests your remaining muscle tissue, accelerating the muscle loss even faster. Third group, patients in the early stages of CKD without severe proteinuria. Let's say your GFR is sitting comfortably around 55 or higher and your filters aren't currently spilling massive amounts of protein into your urine. You have a larger metabolic budget. You can actually afford a slightly higher protein intake. But let me be crystal clear. More protein does not mean you get to eat the standard Western diet. The standard American diet is a toxic protein overload, even for a totally healthy person. So those are the three groups: dialysis patients, frail, sarcopenic patients, and early stage patients without severe leakage. But please guys, listen to me very carefully right now. I know how tempting it is to hear you can eat more protein and immediately think about throwing a massive steak on the grill or frying up a plate of eggs. But that is never fine when you have chronic kidney disease. Never. When we say more protein for these specific groups, we are talking about deeply nourishing kidney protective plant proteins. We are talking about adding a clean source of legumes, whole soy, nuts, and seeds. These give your body the exact building blocks it needs for muscle repair without the catastrophic phosphorus load or the acidic burn of animal-based foods. You might hear whispers online about egg whites or boiled white meat being okay once in a while, but I do not recommend gambling your remaining nephrons on them unless a healthcare professional is directly monitoring your labs and telling you to do so. Protect your kidneys. Protect your filters at all costs. Okay guys, that was the last question. If you want to learn what happened to this 47-year-old dialysis patient when her dialysis access failed, watch my video up here, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye-bye.